Hello everyone, and welcome to the Library Kitchen Christmas edition here at the Gloucester County Public Library. I'm Chris, and today we're making a wonderful bread pudding for the holidays. And what makes it so wonderful? Because we're going to be using Krispy Kreme donuts. That's right, a Krispy Kreme bread pudding. So let's get started. So we're going to start with 1 dozen Krispy Kreme donuts, the originals and not the hot ones. I know that's difficult not to buy the hot donuts, but for the bread pudding, you're going to need to have 12-day-old Krispy Kreme donuts. And that's the other problem, the day-old part, because I'll be honest with you, I can't let a Krispy Kreme donut sit around for a day, but for this recipe, you're going to need a day-old Krispy Kreme donut. So 1 dozen Krispy Kreme donuts cut into 6 pieces each. And then you're going to need, for your custard, 1½ cups of whole milk, 1/2 cup of heavy whipping cream, 1/2 cup of light brown sugar, 3 eggs beaten, 1/4 teaspoon of salt, 1/4 teaspoon of nutmeg, and 1/2 teaspoon of pumpkin pie spice. And lastly, 2 teaspoons of vanilla. You're going to whisk that all together. Mix well to incorporate all of the ingredients. And that will just take a minute or so. Set your bowl aside. Bring over your dozen Krispy Kreme donuts that you've cut up and pour this custard mixture over the donuts. Now you want to make sure that you fold all the donuts into that mixture so that they're all covered so that they can soak up that custard. At this point, you're going to want to let this sit for 30 minutes. So now that we're ready to bake our bread pudding, you're going to want to get a 9x13, 9x11, 8x8, or a 9x9 baking dish. And you're going to want to take some butter, softened, and coat the entire inside of the casserole dish with that butter, because you don't want this bread pudding to stick. So now we're going to go ahead and pour our donut mixture into our baking dish. I'm going to smooth out the donuts in the dish. And this is going to be baked uncovered for 45 to 55 minutes. Into the oven it goes. Now folks, make sure that you check your bread pudding after 45 minutes because the top can start to get a little brown. If that happens, you can always cover it with a little bit of aluminum foil while it finishes cooking so it doesn't over brown. So I've already got a bread pudding made from earlier today, and so I'll bring that over. So this is a bread pudding that we made earlier today, and it's been sitting and cooling. So folks, now that our bread pudding has been resting for a few minutes and cooling off, we're ready to make our vanilla glaze, because what goes better on donuts than a glaze? So for that, we're going to use 1 cup of confectioner's sugar, 4 tablespoons of whole milk, and a teaspoon of vanilla. And you're going to go ahead and whisk that into the powdered sugar. And this is going to be making the glaze for your bread pudding. Now that the glaze is smooth, as you can see, we're going to go ahead and drizzle that over our bread pudding. Perfect. In just a few minutes, I'll come back and we'll cut into this. So we've got our glaze that we've put on our bread pudding, and now we're ready to have a bite. So let's cut into it. This looks so good. Now, you can serve your bread pudding just like it is with just the glaze, or if you're at my house, I'm going to add a little bit of chocolate syrup, just a little bit across the top, not a lot, just enough to kind of make it feel fancy. Also, I'm going to sprinkle a little bit of chopped pecans on my bread pudding. Well, folks, I hope you enjoyed our Christmas edition of Krispy Kreme bread pudding. So now I'm ready to take a bite of this bread pudding. Again, I put a little chocolate, a little pecans on mine. You don't have to do that. You can just go with the glaze. Now, this recipe can be found in the Holy Smokes North Carolina barbecue book that we have here at the library. And don't forget to like and subscribe to the Gloucester County YouTube channel so that you don't miss any more demonstrations of recipes. Happy holidays. It's so good, folks.